more of the demon clan to make a choice. Either seek the 10,000 demon kingdom without delay, or hope to be noticed and sheltered by a sage's faction, or else find a hidden place to cultivate in solitude, and withdraw from the affairs of the primordial world entirely. In this era, the radiance of the human clan had come to outshine every other race. Yet all of this, from my place in the depths of the abyss, I understood completely. I also knew that the rise of the human clan was the great work of the heavenly Tao, an unstoppable tide. As a soul from a later age, watching the human clan advance step by step toward greatness, I felt not the slightest resistance. On the contrary, I held an understanding of it all that went far deeper. The human clan is, in truth, an extraordinarily frail race. In natural talent and bloodline, they fall far short of the demon clan. In physical combat strength, they are far inferior to the Wu clan. Yet the human clan possesses two uniquely heaven-given advantages. First, an extraordinary speed of reproduction, and second, a civilization that passes down without end. These two things the Wu and demon clans can never hope to match. And herein lies the heavenly Tao's great gift to the human clan. In truth, over these years, I had begun to sense something. Ever since the number of sages had been strictly curtailed, the various great clans of the primordial world had seen the probability of producing powerful cultivators grow ever smaller. I had even formed a bold hypothesis. The total number of powerful beings this primordial world could sustain is in fact finite. If the Wu and demon clans had been left unchecked, continuing to produce grand unity golden immortals, quasi-sages and sages at will, the very heavenly Tao of the entire primordial world would have collapsed under the strain. The emergence of the human clan solved exactly this problem. The human clan's natural talents vary wildly from person to person. Their lifespans are barely 100 years. Letting such a race multiply and thrive across the primordial land was precisely what allowed the primordial world to maintain a state of relative equilibrium. Otherwise, had the Wu and demon clans continued to dominate the primordial world, producing wave upon wave of powerful cultivators with their natural gifts and bloodlines would have been effortless. And at that point, the primordial world would have faced a true and utter catastrophe. So the rise of the human clan, though it seemed accidental, was in truth inevitable. And just at this moment, the skies over the primordial world shifted drastically. Torrential rains fell for years without relenting. Rivers overflowed their banks. Floodwaters raged across the sky. Countless human settlements were swallowed by the deluge, and the people were displaced, enduring unimaginable suffering. Yet in the face of this catastrophic flood, the great powers on all sides chose to stand back and do nothing. This was a trial the human clan had to face, on the road to their rise, one they could only resolve by their own hand. And within the human clan, a young man appeared, known as the Great Yu. His cultivation held no great power, yet his heart held all living beings. Seeing the floods run rampant, he immediately rallied the countless people of the human clan and traveled far and wide, working to tame the waters. From far away in the depths of the abyss, a notification chime from the system rang once more in my mind. Ding. The great flood rages. The human clan's Great Yu, heart full of compassion, travels tirelessly to tame the waters. Do you choose to leave the abyss and lend your aid? Option 1. Accept the mission. Help Great Yu control the floods. Reward the acquired spirit treasure. River leading flagship. Option 2. Refuse the mission. Receive one of the 10 great formations of the primordial world. The 10,000 Li Rivers and Mountains Grand Formation. This formation draws upon the gathered vital energy of the primordial earth. It can trap a quasi-sage and withstand dozens of a sage's strokes. Moreover, within its boundaries, heaven and earth's spiritual energy converges. Cultivating inside it yields twice the result with half the effort. Without any hesitation, I chose to refuse the mission. An ancient, unadorned formation disc materialized instantly in the palm of my hand. With a casual wave, the disc transformed into a streak of light and shot out of the abyss, high above the million mountains, suddenly unfurling the full suppressive might of the formation. Fast as thunder before the ears can react, blanketing the entire expanse of the million mountains. Throughout the million mountains, those powerful demon cultivators with deep cultivation immediately sensed the presence of the formation. To their astonished delight, they found that a powerful formation had appeared from nowhere within the 10,000 demon kingdom. And far from harboring any hostility toward the demon clan, it was of immense benefit to them. Heaven and earth's spiritual energy was gathering wildly, growing dense beyond measure. Many demons who had been stuck at the wall of a cultivation bottleneck instantly felt signs of a breakthrough stirring within. It must be the Keelan Patriarch, and he has comprehended some heaven-defying formation and quietly laid it across the million mountains. A white-haired demon patriarch stroked his beard, his face full of admiration. Indeed, I can feel it too. Within the formation's embrace, cultivation speed has surged several-fold. This formation is of a wondrous and profound design. The Keelan Patriarch's methods are truly boundless. Another demon cultivator clad in battle armor nodded in vigorous agreement. Patriarch Lingsha, Patriarch Tianma, though the two of you hold grand unity golden immortal cultivation, you have no understanding of the way of formations. A demoness of sinuous bearing let out a light laugh, her voice carrying a note of self-satisfaction. I, Pansy, have studied the art of formations for tens of thousands of years. Allow me to tell you, the grand formation over our 10,000 demon kingdom is more wondrous than you can imagine. Even a quasi-sage, or sage, who came to challenge it, could be held at bay for a good long while. Really? That can't be. That's absolutely beyond belief. Patriarch Lingshai and Patriarch Tianma were both struck with astonishment. The three grand unity golden immortal demon patriarchs gathered together, speaking in low, awed voices, their eyes shining with excitement and reverence. Just then, sweeping over, the core of the 10,000 Li Rivers and Mountains Grand Formation blanketing the million mountains, a burst of brilliant primordial chaos light suddenly erupted. A faint, barely perceptible divine sense swept in quietly from beyond the 33rd heaven, only to be sharply repelled by the formation's barrier. Within Zixiao Palace, Hongjun, deep in seclusion, suddenly snapped his eyes open. A flicker of unreadable intent crossed his gaze. He murmured to himself, his voice carrying a thread of disbelief. This formation actually harbors the breath of primordial chaos origin. The foundation of this Keelan clan runs far deeper than I had ever imagined. In the million mountains in the abyss. Having just finished laying down the 10,000 Li Rivers and Mountains Grand Formation, I summoned Yuan Hong before me. This monkey had been in the abyss for several hundred years now, diligently cultivating from his original mystic immortal realm all the way up, and had now reached the peak of grand unity golden immortal. What was more admirable was his steadiness of character. He had guarded the gateway of the abyss for years, without a single word of complaint, accumulating no small amount of merit. In my view, his destined opportunity had arrived, tied to the Rui Jinggu Bang of Sun Wukong in the later age. That staff's origins were extraordinary. It was no ordinary weapon. It had originally been an iron pillar used by the great Yu in his flood-taming work, because it had rendered great service in controlling the waters. It was blessed with an enormous infusion of heavenly merit, and thus elevated into an acquired merit treasure, brimming with boundless merit energy. If a mere iron pillar could receive such a remarkable opportunity, then if Yuan Hong were to emerge into the world, wielding his own acquired treasure iron staff, assisting the great Yu in taming the floods, would he not gain far greater heavenly merit in return? Perhaps this was precisely the turning point that would allow him to break through to quasi-sage. With that thought, I hesitated no further, and turned to Yuan Hong, issuing my instructions. Hong, the floodwaters now ravage the land, and all living beings are displaced in suffering. This is a tribulation, but it is also your destined opportunity. You have tempered yourself in the abyss for hundreds of years. It is time you went out to forge yourself through trial. Go! Make your way across the primordial world and seek out a man by the name of the Great Yu. Join him in taming the floods. Remember, you must find this person. If the three of you succeed in subduing the flood disaster, the heavenly Tao will surely look upon you with favor and bestow merit. Hearing my words, Yuan Hong's eyes lit up in an instant. Over these years, his character had steadied considerably. The hot-headed temper of his earlier days long since gone. Whether to venture out or stay had made little difference to him. The abyss had everything he could want. All manner of immortal peaches and spirit fruits. Heaven and earth spirit roots. He had eaten his fill of them all. His cultivation had steadily reached the peak of grand unity golden immortal. Though he had refined a single drop of primordial chaos devil crystal dew and become an innate being, he was only of the most ordinary kind. Without an extraordinary stroke of fortune, breaking through to quasi-sage would be harder than ascending to heaven, and it was precisely because of this that he carried himself with such unhurried calm. I obey the patriarch's decree. Yuan Hong said nothing more. He bowed in respect, then turned and stepped out of the abyss, heading off into the depths of the primordial world. Watching Yuan Hong's departing figure, I, presiding over the abyss, suddenly felt a little restless. My gaze drifted toward the churning lava at the bottom of the abyss. A thought struck me, and I plunged straight down into it. This earth vein fire connected directly to the bedrock beneath the primordial world. At its deepest lay a boundless sea of raging flame. Yet these fires posed no threat to me whatsoever. I commanded several kinds of primordial source fire, each far superior to this earth fire. Moving through it was entirely effortless. In these depths of the earth veins, I came down once every several thousand years. The space below was vast and boundless. Nourished by the ceaseless flow of earth fire, it had given birth to countless fire-type spirit treasures and rare objects. These things held little use for me, but for the younger generations of my clan, they were invaluable cultivation aids. This time, however, beyond searching for new treasures and spirit objects, what mattered more was this. I wanted to test whether my current power could now break through the barrier deep within the earth veins. Several thousand years ago, I had come here before and had encountered a wall of light at the deepest point. That wall of light was immovably solid. Even my full force strike had failed to shake it in the slightest, and what lay beyond it was completely beyond my reach to perceive. This time I drew out the divine spear. Over these thousands of years, I had refined several of the 5 elements' holy objects. My power was far beyond what it once was. I unleashed a full force thrust, and upon that once indestructible wall of light, a hairline crack appeared. Instantly, a stream of pure and concentrated primordial chaos energy seeped slowly out through the crack. My eyes flew open. A surge of excitement rose in my chest. This time I'd actually managed to shake the wall of light. With primordial chaos energy leaking through, that meant beyond this barrier could very well be the chaos realm itself. This wall of light, it was the natural protective barrier of the primordial world. If it could be fully broken through, perhaps I could enter the chaos realm directly from this very spot. But once the excitement passed,